The happiest memory from all of it?
No, but there are about 8 or 10.
Give me the nicest one.
The happiest moment, I suppose, was the baby shower.
And during that time, I consider the years I spent on I Love Lucy to be perhaps the biggest rip-off of my career.
Everybody loves Lucy. I love Lucy.
Thank
Do you
you.
love Lucy?
Yes, I do.
For millions, she was the cheerful best friend, the loyal sidekick, the other half of one of television's most iconic duos. Vivian Vance, as Ethel Mertz, was a fixture in American homes, a comforting presence whose laughter echoed through living rooms for decades. She was the perfect neighbor, the willing accomplice in countless zany schemes, and the grounded, plain-speaking counterpart to Lucy Ricardo's madcap energy. Their friendship seemed perfect, a testament to the wholesome, heartwarming world of I Love Lucy. But what if that was all just part of the performance? What if, behind the laughter and the applause, there was a story of profound struggle, bitter resentment, and a talented actress trapped in a role she grew to despise? For years, Vivian Vance held on to secrets about what really happened on the set of America's favorite sitcom. She spoke of a gilded cage, of professional jealousies that cut deep, and of a personal life filled with turmoil that the cameras never captured. This is not the story of Ethel Mertz. This is the story of Vivian Vance, and the shocking truths she revealed about the show you thought you knew. For decades, she was America's favorite neighbor, the loyal best friend who was always there for a laugh and a zany scheme. But behind Ethel Mertz's cheerful smile, Vivian Vance was holding on to secrets that would change how you see I Love Lucy forever. She once confessed that her time on the show was both a blessing and a burden. Now, the shocking truths she revealed about her bitter on-set feuds, the crushing weight of her character, and the hidden pressures from the studio are coming to light. This isn't the story you remember. This is the story of what was really happening when the cameras stopped rolling. Before she was Ethel Mertz, landlady to the Ricardos, she was Vivian Roberta Jones, born in the small town of Cherryvale, Kansas, in 1909. She was the second of 6 children in a family where her mother's strict religious beliefs clashed dramatically with her own burgeoning love for the stage. In later interviews, Vance recalled the oppressive atmosphere of her childhood, where her mother viewed her theatrical ambitions as a path to sin. It's been reported that Vance said her mother believed showing her legs could drive men to sin, a sentiment that deeply affected her. This clash of wills ignited a rebellious spark in young Vivian. She began sneaking out of her bedroom, determined to pursue her passion and escape the confines of her disapproving family. She made a bold move, changing her surname to Vance, reportedly after folklorist Vance Randolph, and packed her bags for Albuquerque, New Mexico, in search of acting work. It was there, in 1930, that she made her debut at the Albuquerque Little Theater. The local theater community quickly recognized her talent and rallied around her, helping fund her journey to New York City to study under the acclaimed actress Eva Le Gallienne. New York in 1932 was a world away from Kansas. Vivian threw herself into the heart of Broadway, starting, as many did, in the chorus line. She spent years honing her craft, gradually moving into more substantial roles. She even understudied the legendary Ethel Merman in Cole Porter's hit musical Anything Goes, a testament to her skill. Her big break, however, came in 1941 when she starred as Nancy Collister in another Cole Porter musical, Let's Face It. The show was a massive success, running for over 500 performances and cementing her status as a respected Broadway actress. She wasn't a comedian by trade. She was a classically trained actress with a powerful stage presence. She also had her sights set on a film career, moving to California in the late 1940s and landing roles in 2 films, The Secret Fury and The Blue Veil. She was a sophisticated, glamorous, and talented performer on the cusp of a major career. And then in 1951, a phone call changed everything. Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball were casting their new sitcom, I Love Lucy, and director Mark Daniels, who had seen Vance perform on stage, recommended her for the role of the landlady, Ethel Mertz. At 42 years old, Vivian Vance, the celebrated Broadway actress, was about to become the most famous second banana in television history, a role that would bring her international fame and, as she would later reveal, a great deal of private pain. When Vivian Vance walked onto the set of I Love Lucy, she was a seasoned performer who had fought hard for her career. She was also, by all accounts, an attractive and stylish woman. This, in the eyes of Lucille Ball, was a problem. Ball, the undisputed star of the show, was initially hesitant to cast Vance. According to biographer Frank Castelluccio, Ball came from an old-school Hollywood mindset where you never have prettier people on the set. This reluctance set the tone for a series of demands that would shape Vance's on-screen persona. The producers wanted a clear visual distinction between the glamorous, if zany, Lucy and her plain, simple landlady. It's one of the most persistent rumors in television history that Vance was contractually obligated to remain at least 20 pounds overweight. While no physical contract has ever surfaced, and some say the contract was actually a gag gift from Ball, the pressure was real. Her wardrobe was intentionally frumpy, a stark contrast to Ball's fashionable outfits. Essentially, Vivian Vance had to actively suppress her natural glamour to become Ethel Mertz. But the indignities of her on-screen look were nothing compared to the shock that awaited her when she met her on-screen husband. The role of Fred Mertz was given to William Frawley, a veteran vaudeville performer who was 64 years old to Vance's 42. To Vance, the 22-year age gap was a professional insult. According to Greg Oppenheimer, son of the show's head writer, the animosity was immediate. Viv became upset at the fact that people so readily accepted her lovely young self as the wife of that old man, as she called him, Oppenheimer noted. Vance reportedly complained to Lucille Ball, "No one will believe I'm married to that old coot." Unfortunately, Frawley overheard the comment. He was deeply hurt and offended, and any chance of a friendly working relationship was shattered. Their off-screen relationship curdled into a mutual, simmering hatred that would last for the entire run of the show. Vance often referred to him as that stubborn-headed little Irishman. Frawley, for his part, was equally venomous. He retaliated with insults of his own, suggesting lines for his character that were thinly veiled attacks on Vance, like describing Ethel as having a figure like a sack full of doorknobs. He allegedly referred to her with vicious, unprintable names to others on set. The on-screen bickering that audiences found so endearing was just a pale imitation of the genuine loathing the actors felt for one another. They were trapped in a professional marriage that was, in reality, a bitter, unending feud. The feud between Vivian Vance and William Frawley wasn't just a spat. It was a deep-seated, toxic animosity. Vance was a meticulous, theater-trained professional who valued rehearsal. Frawley, on the other hand, had a reputation for being difficult. He was a known alcoholic, and while Desi Arnaz had extracted a promise that he'd never miss work due to drinking, a promise he kept, his attitude grated on Vance. Frawley was resistant to script changes, and according to Desi Arnaz's memoir, complained bitterly about Vance from the start. "Where the hell did you find this bia?" Frawley reportedly asked Arnaz. "She can't sing worth a damn. She bugs me." The war of words was relentless. Frawley famously quipped, "She's one of the finest girls to come out of Kansas, but I often wish she'd go back there." The on-screen jabs, like Ethel calling Fred Old Fat Freddy, were often laced with real-life malice. The hatred was an open secret. They communicated only when cameras were rolling, and the tension had lasting professional consequences. When Desilu Productions considered a spin-off series about the Mertzes, a surefire hit, The project was dead on arrival. Frawley was eager, but Vance refused. She would not work with him again. The feud was so legendary that an unverified story has circulated for decades. Upon hearing of Frawley's death in 1966, Vance, who was in a restaurant, supposedly declared, "Champagne for everybody." Whether true or not, the story's persistence speaks volumes about the shocking toxicity of their relationship. While her relationship with Frawley was a nightmare, Vance's bond with Lucille Ball was far more complex. It didn't start as an instant friendship. Ball was initially wary of sharing the screen with another attractive woman and insisted on the changes that made Ethel appear frumpy. Despite this rocky start, a deep and enduring friendship blossomed, built on mutual respect. Ball quickly recognized Vance's immense talent. As the show progressed, the character of Ethel Mertz became more and more prominent. Their on-screen chemistry soon mirrored a genuine off-screen bond. They weren't just colleagues, they became confidants, especially as both of their marriages were falling apart toward the end of I Love Lucy's run. Ball was divorcing Desi Arnaz, and Vance was ending her 18-year marriage to actor Philip Ober, a union rumored to be abusive. In her memoir, Ball wrote about this difficult period. Vivian and I have always been extraordinarily compatible, so we were especially close during this time of misery. They leaned on each other, finding solace in a shared struggle. Lucy Arnaz, Ball's daughter, later confirmed the depth of their connection. "My mother and Vivian were really good friends in real life, like sisters, good friends, and they adored one another. Their sisterhood would last until the very end of Vance's life, a real, loving friendship forged in the high-pressure world of television." Winning the role of Ethel Mertz made Vivian Vance a star. In 1954, she became the first person to win an Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress for her work on the show. But this success came at a steep price. The character that made her famous also became her prison. Vance found herself so severely typecast that it suffocated her ambitions of being seen as a serious, versatile actress. She grew tired of being called Ethel wherever she went, a constant reminder that her own identity had been swallowed by her characters. This struggle was compounded by immense personal pressures. The stress of the show, her toxic relationship with Frawley, and her turbulent marriage took a severe emotional toll. Vance later revealed her lifelong battle with mental illness, which had begun years before I Love Lucy. In a 1963 interview, she described having a nervous breakdown in the 1940s. "Let's face it, I cracked up," she recalled. "You think you're going crazy. You're not able to face and recognize your problems." She became one of the earliest and most outspoken celebrity advocates for mental health, speaking openly about her struggles with depression and anxiety. She credited therapy with saving her life and would visit patients in mental hospitals, not as a star, but as someone who understood their pain. "I don't give them advice. I'm no doctor," she said. "I just give them encouragement." This advocacy revealed a depth and vulnerability the public rarely saw. While America laughed at Ethel, Vivian Vance was quietly fighting her own battles, turning her private pain into a public mission. When I Love Lucy ended its initial run, in 1957, Vance continued to play Ethel in the hour-long specials until 1960. But once that chapter closed, she was desperate to shed the skin of Ethel Mertz. She moved to the East Coast with her fourth husband, John Dodds, and settled into a quieter life. However, in 1962, Lucille Ball came calling. Now divorced from DC and planning her return to TV with The Lucy Show, Ball knew she needed her comedic partner. Vance was reluctant. The thought of once again playing second fiddle was unappealing, and she dreaded the weekly commute to Hollywood. But her loyalty to Ball was strong, and she eventually agreed, on her terms. She laid down several conditions. First, the demand to be overweight was gone. Second, she would be allowed to wear glamorous, stylish clothes. And most importantly, she had one non-negotiable demand. "I'll come back," she told Desi Arnaz, who was still executive producer. "But I want a clause that says my name will be Vivian." She was done being Ethel. Her new character was named Vivian Bagley. It was a small but powerful victory in reclaiming her own name. Vance co-starred on The Lucy Show for 3 seasons, from 1962 to 1965. But the relentless travel took its toll, and she chose to leave the show as a regular. In the years that followed, Vance enjoyed a semi-retirement, appearing in commercials and occasional guest roles. She and Ball appeared together one last time in a 1977 CBS special, Lucy Calls the President. But her health was beginning to decline. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1973, and after a period of remission, the cancer returned. Vivian Vance's story is a powerful reminder that the images we see on screen are often a carefully constructed fantasy. Behind the laughter of "I Love Lucy" lay a world of complex human emotions, a friendship as real as any sisterhood, a feud that was shockingly bitter, and the lonely struggle of a talented woman fighting to be seen for who she truly was. She was not just a sidekick. She was a classically trained actress, a pioneering mental health advocate, and a woman of incredible resilience. Her final years were spent largely out of the spotlight. In the summer of 1979, knowing the end was near, Lucille Ball made one final visit to her dearest friend. A witness to the farewell recalled hearing them laughing, and toward the end, a lot of sobbing. It was, she said, an amazing thing to witness. The love of these 2 women. Vivian Vance passed away on August 17, 1979, at the age of 70. Upon her death, Desi Arnaz paid a moving tribute. "It's bad enough to lose one of the great artists we had the honor and the pleasure to work with, but it's even harder to reconcile the loss of one of your best friends." Years later, Lucille Ball would talk about watching I Love Lucy reruns. "I find that now I usually spend my time looking at Viv," she said. Viv was sensational. Her family reportedly donated her Emmy award to the Albuquerque Little Theater, the place where her journey began. In 1991, she was posthumously awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a long-overdue recognition for a woman who gave the world one of its most beloved characters, even as she fought to hold on to herself. Vivian Vance's legacy is a dual one: the public joy of Ethel Mertz and the private, poignant, and shocking truth of the woman who played her.